Mani faru neka melundo mimba fo walekela sabunyu manana ne manara susu manana solo la sininya sibara edabia dembe ta fa solo la sininya sibara edabia anara fa solo te kanalo mbela mo baya barada fa baba anara fa solo te kanalo mbela mo baya barada fa baba badenya edabia nyombo ya tunya susuma Babela moya para bankela sabule moya mo mangane Kuranye dabia television ya dabia moni finya kuni dabia alani baba sura sababu Masi socorro le pongo Sula bila fakulade Baya bila fakulade Balingana bila fakulade Malengiri niyo anyadu wa huga soye
I just want to say thanks to every one of you. You know, with this organization that we have, first of all, I'm Amara Kumar. I'm going to be your MC for the show, for the event tonight. You know, we have a lot of discussions on Facebook, and we tear down this organization. You know, a lot of talks. Felmausa is not nothing. Felmausa doesn't do anything for us. What have we done in the past? But the few days last week, and I saw writing on Facebook that actually caught my attention, because a lot of time when we are, you know, in disagreement with people, we don't think the other way. And this person was Surik about it. He said, despite of the fight in the community, people on Facebook insulting each other, what Felmausa has done for him, it has brought him closer to knowing people that he's never met before in the Mandingo community. I mean, that was the most, you know, honest, you know, thing that I've ever heard, and I was so happy. So people that are saying that Felmausa hasn't accomplished nothing, no, Felmausa has accomplished something. Because to be honest with you, a lot of people here I didn't know, and everybody here, there's somebody that you didn't know. Felmausa, because of Felmausa, you have been able to communicate with those people and you have known each other. So we have accomplished something. So I want you to please clap for yourself for being here, so that thank you very much. So now we're now going directly into the program. Since we all know that Felmausa has accomplished something, the fact that it brought us together to unify us, that is an accomplishment itself. We have invocation by our father that is here, Father Vayage Kruma. Please come and lead us into prayer.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa sallim. What I want to say here is I'm so sorry that I will express myself in Mandingo. So I'm so sorry those that now understand Mandingo. Sometimes you will make your understand better. Moni malu nak makan kremi jano majande ole ni moni ma fefe ni sen na kabo yoro fanfa ko annani ko kanaka aya ko ba minori anna bila be foin ala aita bila foin mona deni ma woli badi nyani so ay ka fefe no du ala mina organisation ma ala organisation baraka ala abraka ala ka ado kono ala ta kuma jiso ala ay juru koli ala ka ay fo ay jula mais ala do ay juru koli ay ma mi fo ay nyana do ka nyakre wo na kimna koroma akabo ni mendia adama de ala be ko isone melema mi bulidara wote de wa mi isone melo ala ko wolema ali katra fra ko be o yafu ya wini yewe moya mrate na aduna misila don wolo ali yafo ko be yake ko be mi isone melo ala keto isra wolema nous na couvre les Felmausa aya ladeno wa before ne naja ngama mo bado el manye nga Philadelphia awe nye vateke awe nou bele Philadelphia nou bele Felmausa organisation mino awe wa barasya manje fukarada awe arada ni bunyali ne me mowe se yoro awe bom nou mo ba utalonya awe fo kilo jakado uke nemi loni ake na ne vajeke monsi amenyi na ewe ni nampuna mate ndasate ewe aje na ni na iso ala karuka mtoko me na sunya ike yao newe ngwale ngomuru yako ngo adoye ubasi isiama ne ke budu adopt sistema ngo aneto neta odako fo i kubrele ke ne ka koku ke nyamna adundo ngoliro neni moso sani bidani anlo mosini de vla pesa na wole so de ngeke de moso ke mais nadu na ko binganya ala wo braka edo na akoro ula meweka silo iloja iko itiye moka fefe na tuja alam na organization ma mo ba na to do wuminga alam na organization ma alors monte se foi créer fo do awu nu tayaro mo tayaro do awu lide ay lu banza mi ne ay loja ay be badema ay be fadema ay budu nyomro ay organisation mi ato ya ko nyama bawo akene wo mo to ko e wo avion e ka ba jato awunga ya koma adama de tinole na ikibro kinyona ka organisation mi na ay bro flale bonya mi organisation ngala bia ate organisation ka dino ay ka kini ay toma kafoko ay lumina wo organisation adama ay women ay toma wallahi fa go do ala manya ya braka ala manya ajiriwa ne bara don ni ko krem la fra ay nyana bi ala ka ke ayam ama manya organisation ay loja ma mo tefo mo ni itefu nyina ifuna ni itedia be ay dia ni mo ma mru ala ma ke manyale ay we na ayala kafaka mo ni vi mo te krak ni de ay ka ke mo susla aya kafo ayka mi bi se ni ale le wole anato etiwa organization anato etiwa hafu adu buya yi ma do wo wa ko ni modo keni ala de na mo le mo ka dafa na ke fefe ke ala na organization ma ala jiriwa aya mo ba mi na nya ala si de ma ala ke kangrendile organization ko te dale de yimi bri da wote de me ni kak e be afra ku minero i woro itemino ikake woro ikake bafla de sure bafla de sure de weke no zile ya afwa la jerema ro atebe demakoro don na la li kremia en desis menala wole woda fa nakremia ale wole ma kundi mi jano asa makase mo bade ma fefe nani adon we na avion no ala eta bina fo ala na bina fo ala eta bina fo ala ay kisi gbebelema ala mo de nyoye ni kila lo horoma ablaka lo horoma salamu madi uma me tombo butu kulu la weka flu da kan we butu weka mo me ka nala ka ay dafa nakrin redi weka wa wodio wala akatira trawo masalamu madi.
I'm sorry, Madam Honorary Counsel, she couldn't hear a lot of it, but I'm sure she'll understand that was a prayer. Now we're going to the national anthem of Liberia, so I ask the audience to please stand up so we can recite the national anthem of our country, and then we'll go into the program. Right, after 3 counts. Sometimes this thing can choke people, so we didn't bring a copy, so all right, 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, hail Liberia, hail, oh, hail Liberia, hail, oh, hail. This glorious land of liberty shall long be ours. Though you are the green bean of faith and mighty be our power. Though you are the green bean of faith and mighty be our power, and mighty be our power, and mighty be our power. 1, 2, 3, 4, enjoy and glad with our hearts united, we shout the freedom of a race united. One let Liberia happy land, in whom our glorious liberty by God's cause man. In whom our glorious liberty by God's cause man. Because some of us will start forgetting, it's very important. People forget these things. We are in a different country and we don't recite it all the time. So sometimes it's good to look for it because you have to respect the national anthem of your country. Now, before we go into the next anthem, we have some distinguished guests among us and we'd like to recognize them so that you can know who they are. We have with the Campo and Minister Jurasano, President Bangayu, You didn't clap for yourself? Thank you very much. The daughter of Atlanta chapter president,
Greetings and thank you to everyone for being here today. Chairman Mohammed Enzadale and members of the Honorable Board of Directors, Election Commission Chairman Honorable Abraham Fofana and members of that commission, the 3 presidential aspirants and their representative teams, religious leaders, youth, and elders, well-wishers, and all other people for being here from far and near. Thank you and welcome to the beautiful city of Atlanta, Georgia. I want to welcome you to the 2019 Felmausa Convention, beginning with the first major event, Traditional Hour. As a member of the Atlanta Liberian Mandingo Association and the Federation by extension, as a young person and a member of the generation immediately behind yours, and ready to step into your shoes, I sincerely hope and pray that you would keep our generation's interest in mind in all of your deliberations at the 2019 convention. Remember that it's about us, your children, and not you. Before I take my seat, let me assure you that we will be around throughout the event to attend to necessary needs as a part of making your stay here comfortable. Don't hesitate to ask me or any other fellow organization member any questions. Once again, thank you and enjoy your stay here.
wow, that's great. So they're letting you know that this organization isn't about you, it's about them, the generation to come. So we're gonna see a lot of day, especially tomorrow. We got a lot of the youth that are gonna be speaking to us. It is very important that we start transitioning some of these kids into what we do so that 10 years from now, they're gonna be the one taking over this organization. Thank you, Sita, that was great. All right, the next on the agenda here, before we go, I would like to recognize one former board of directors for Felmausa, Famo Kone, the chairman. Yeah, he was the chairman, right? Did I say chairman or? Okay, chairman. I think you should fine me for doing that. All right, we're gonna go to recognition of Felmausa officials by the Secretary General of the organization, Mr. Ajabate. Thank you.
President Mamadi Bangali Sise, Felmausa, Mr. Mohammed Enzan Dole, Chairman of the Board of Directors, our Council President from the Liberian Embassy, Mr. Gerard A.M. Sano, Assistant Minister, Republic of Liberia, one and basically, I think the MC has already done what I'm supposed to be doing. He has already recognized some people here. So I would just like to make a brief remark. I want all of us to look on your left, right, back, and front, and show some love to one another. Felmausa is the only common denominator we have. So a lot have been achieved over the years. For people to say nothing has been achieved, I think that is wrong. Because if you go back, you realize that Felmausa is an organization within the Mandingo community here and back home that has survived. If you compare that to a lot of organizations that came that did not survive, so the fact that Felmausa has survived beyond a decade, it means that a lot has been achieved. So all of us should give a pat on the back for doing a great job. So we should not be the one to tear this federation down. Regardless who is elected president, Felmausa is our common denominator. And this is the only organization that we have that we use to unite ourselves. We go back home to render services to our people. This is the only organization that we have that we also use to maneuver other things. So we cannot let the organization to die. So those who are in the habit of thinking that it is about them, if it is not me then Felmausa cannot go forward, Felmausa cannot make progress. I think people should try to desist from that. So before I take my seat, I want for everybody to remember that we have to show one another love. This is what Felmausa is about. Let us show one another love. There should be no room for hate within our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. All right, so the next thing on the agenda was traditional hours with our elders here to do some Quranic recitations, and they are running behind late, so we will proceed. And whenever they come, they will continue. They will have to wait until after this program, and they can continue that. But let us recognize all Felmausa chapter presidents in the hall. Please stand up. Any president in the hall from chapter state, please stand up so we can recognize you. There you go. Give them a hand clap. We also have Performance Manager Maurice Croman. Those are the people that are running. And then we also have all right, so then we'll go to Beer, Librarian Ambassador here, Ambassador George, but unfortunately, okay, Dr. Cynthia Plafond, please.
I'm so delighted to be here tonight. My name is Cynthia Blanford, and I have the honor and pleasure of serving as the Honorary Consul General for the Republic of Liberia in the state of Georgia. And on behalf of the more than 20,000 Liberians in Georgia, I extend greetings and well wishes to all of you during your convention here this weekend. In addition to that, I'd like to also say to you, I'll be here tomorrow, God willing, but I also want to say a special thanks to your national president, Mr. Mamadi Sise. Thank you, President. And also the leadership of MAMA. He's also the chairman of the board of the Liberian Association of Metropolitan Atlanta. Thank you so much for being here. To the honor to meet you, because in the state of Georgia, we're getting ready to launch what we are calling the 200th anniversary of the return, the door of return. We are celebrating, Ghana got ahead of us. They're celebrating 400 years of the return, but really it's Liberia. Almost 200 years ago, we're going to be launching a national campaign to encourage African Americans and others in the diaspora to come home and celebrate on Providence Island. You'll hear a lot more about this. So Honorable, I'll be working with you and your leadership at the Ministry of Tourism, Information Tourism, and Cultural Affairs. So Honorable, so very pleased to meet you. I have the distinct honor to serve you here in this community. If there's anything I can ever do to support you. We have an office in downtown Atlanta, Peachtree Street. We also issue travel visas to Liberia. We've been doing this now for more than 10 years. So if you need a visa to Liberia, but at the end of the day, you need to be fighting for dual citizenship. So please, I hope all that works well for you, whatever I can do to support your mission.
Thank you. Because we need to know this, because a lot of people don't know about the establishment of Felmausa. And then where was the first meeting of Felmausa held? The very first official meeting of Felmausa, where was it held? Thank you, it's Minnesota. All right, so now we will move on. You see how important that is? Because a lot of you don't know, some person in Philadelphia, Texas, and all kind of stuff.
But you said official.
The very first official meeting was held in Minnesota.
No, bro.
It was held in Minnesota. It was held in the very first official.
No.
Yeah, with I think 13 or 4 people. So yeah. All right. So let us move on to remark. Remark by our Honorable Minister, Rosanna.
How you doing? Mr. President, Brother Mamadi Sise, officials of this noble organization, Ms. Cynthia L. Blanford, I call you Liberia Permanent Representative in the state of Georgia, Mr. Bangare Trawale, and all former presidents of this unique organization. Our own man, Mr. Kroma, it is unfortunate that a Sanu will address a Kroma man. I don't get around that. See what you will say.
the two persons who are also running against Mr. Kroma, a lady and a man.
Again, Mr. Cisse.
Mr. Cisse, I'm sorry. All of us who are here today, and all those that did not come but they are here in spirit, I bring greetings to you all from the Republic of Liberia. I was born many, many years ago, but it was on the 8th of July 2019, I saw this great country, USA.
Welcome.
And since I landed here, I was received by my younger brother, Sano. The following day, I went to, how you call this? Bronx. I saw a lot of my big brothers. Oh, I forgot, I'm sorry for that. Brother Abrahaman Sharif, a senior member at the Ministry of Planning of Liberia. We came together. I'm sorry, Mr. Sharif. I saw, I talked to young people, I talked to old people. I came to Philadelphia, I talked to young people, I talked to old people. I have come to Georgia, I'm talking to young people, I'm also talking to old people. One message is resonating. That message is what? Disunity. Lack of respect, lack of cohesiveness in this noble organization. But since I will speak tomorrow, that's a topic for tomorrow. I will start there. Let's go to tradition. If you define the word tradition, it means, in short, something that is expected, a conventional standard. What can be done until it is done this way, we call that tradition. And that tradition means, in our Mandingo setting, to respect your elders, to respect your parents, to respect your leaders. When they wrong you in the public, sorrow the bitter pill, go to the house, talk to him. Normally, this is my younger brother. If he does wrong to me in the public, I will bear it for the sake of tradition, because I'm required to respect him in the public. I will go to his house and deal with him there as a senior brother. I will not do it in the public. Islam says, respect your leaders. Our tradition says, respect your leaders, so they are synonymous. But I'm not seeing respect in this noble organization. This organization was formed by Liberian Mandingos in the United States of America. Organized by you people, financed by you people, but it does not belong to you, it belongs to us who are in Liberia. You work, we eat the dividends. That's why you have come to the diaspora for. But we in Liberia will never benefit from you if the tradition we are talking about is not applied at the fullest. Mandingo message, Jamu Siara. Jamu, though Jamu came as a result of what? Agreement. Bangladesh Traore, Sekou Kone must never fight. That's a tradition.
So true.
600 to 700 years ago, that agreement was made by our parents. So the Kone and the Traore must never force. Maurice Kroma, Sano must never force in public. Mr. Kamara, Mr. Kroma must never fight. So if the reason these names came about, if they apply and respected, Mandingo Kingdom will be the most peaceful and the most organized people in the world. But if you fail to do these things, you will have 1,000 elections. Felmausa will never proceed the way it should be proceeding. I can say that for sure. 12 years ago, and not 12 months ago, Why is it that every Felmausa leadership is being undermined by people of Felmausa? Why?
Good question. That's the question.
I live in Liberia. These are my junior brothers. I think about that. Morris Kroma and others. I have not been here before. I saw America on CNN, Al Jazeera, and what we read in school. But I think what I have seen for the past 5 days, from New York to where I stand, America is a very great country. It's developed. I have learned enough. President George Bush Jr. once said, when the terrorists attack this country, the terrorists can only shake the foundation of our buildings, but they can't shake the foundation of this land called America. If you have come here and live here and seen these things, these houses that were built, they did not germinate. They came as a result of cohesiveness. I saw bridges, I saw tunnel. But all the thing America is doing, they get tradition. That's why they are strong. So to come here and speak without accepting each other's view as a matter of tradition, respecting our leader, wallahi, billahi, this movement will go nowhere. The Mandingos of Liberia have stood the test of time. I told my boss man, Mr. Eugene Nangwe, because I am a traditional person. Since I took my assignment, I was nominated by President Weah on the 27th of March, January. I was confirmed on the 13th of March. I took over on the 16th of March. From that day up to date, I have respected Mr. Nangwe. I have respected all deputy ministers in that ministry, because that's our tradition. Respect Kuya Masa Buyen. If you honor man, you are a leader, and move him, if you take over, you will be undermined. G. Buela, I will use your I'm not a good speaker. I like to look at your face and say the truth. Mandingos of Liberia have suffered since the formation of that republic called Liberia. We were only unfortunate to see the most brutal one from 1990. But our parents told us they suffer in that country. They were not educated. The only longer distance they cover, or they wanted to cover, was to go to Mecca and Kaaba, strictly religious purpose. But you have traveled the whole of Europe, the whole of America. But they were united. They were together. They respected each other. They have 4 wives. They contain our mothers. But we are not able to contain 1 wife. 1. Because what? We have forgotten about what? Tradition. So the word tradition does not get me T-R-A-U spelling. The last word, no. If we do that, Felmausa will proceed, and proceed the right way. Since I will talk tomorrow, just a prelude of what I will say tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sano. That was the beginning of the advice that he has for tomorrow. Please give him another hand of applause. That's very low. So he spelled out tradition for you. So some of you don't understand what we call tradition. And we talk about Felmausa Constitution. And what the minister said here, the first part of Felmausa Constitution, that's exactly what, right, Mr. Chairman? It talk about tradition, us respecting one another, and nephew, cousin. So that part of the Constitution of Felmausa is not respected. And it's exactly what the minister said here. So we need to go back. So we can talk everything that we want to talk about. We talk about how we don't respect the Constitution, but we don't even respect the first line of the Constitution that talk about respecting each other. Hello? So, yeah. So let's move on. Before we go into the next remark, I would also like to recognize one of the candidates run along with Perfect Manager, Kalu Ansmana Dole. He's here. He's running as Vice President of Administration under the leadership of the team, Maurice Coram. He's right here. I don't know. I'm trying to look around for some of the candidates, so I don't want to call somebody name. Man, they didn't recognize me.
You started already. So.
And then we have Fesu here, who is running on the team as well.
Morris.
Maurice Coram. I'm like, yeah, Maurice Coram, right? See, but I need to have this name. Maurice Coram has run it as VPO for Mamadi Cisse. Maurice, gonna stand up so people can see you. You're already short, and you won't stand up. No, I disagree with you, Ajabate. I think Maurice is taller than you.
Oh, okay.
You want us to try it right now?
Yeah.
Come on. Let's see. All right, let's see.
Usman and Morris are the shortest. Usman and Morris.
Oh, Usman and Morris. Somebody confirmed that Morris and Usman are the shortest. All right, let's continue with the program. It's sometimes good to put some fun in there. So we'll have a remark by former Felmausa President Bangali Trawale.
Very happy to be here. Let me just say all protocols. My brother, my father, thank you very much. Even though today my first time seeing you, and I took your message very deep. Thank you. You said something that I agree with. Normally, when we used to go for our Felmausa convention on this day, traditional hour, we normally used to do it in our tradition, Mandingo, which you just did here. So it was nice. And I appreciate that you also acknowledge that we got different people with us. So that's why we speak in English. But it's always traditional. When we go to Philadelphia, our elders, they speak Mandingo and we enjoy it. So we are here again to talk about our community, our values. That's what the traditional hour is all about. Equally so, we all acknowledge the problem that we continue to fight, the problem we face, which our honorable minister just talked about. In how much he lives miles away across the Atlantic Ocean, he's pretty much aware, informed about the disagreement in our community and some of us, simply because we have something called the social media, internet, that everything that we do here is being displayed there so disrespectfully until the whole world will capture it. Those of us that's fun on it, we choose not to go there. That's why we're not too much informed, but we don't know whether that's the best way to take our disagreement. It's so much disturbing to some of us. Yes, a former president of Felmausa, neither me or any other president had their own challenges in Felmausa. There have been no president that came to Felmausa leadership that was never challenged to the fullest, more so they respectfully, and that are becoming a culture. Is that a culture we want to continue with? I think no. Our brother Julius Sano just said, America is great. Whatsoever comes from America is regarded as the best. Our name, the mere fact that Mandingos in America, what it says behind us, what it details, is more than what we look at. And we take our disagreement on social media. So disturbing. Because of that, let me give a little point. Somebody can get to myself. I want to say this publicly. One of the things that got me so involved in Felmausa that I have to put my differences aside. When Felmausa was founded in 2007, I think I'm on record, I did not approve of everything. In other words, I went against the formation, not because I did not like Felmausa, but because the manner in which it was done, and I made that publicly. But to my almost surprise, I got a call from Liberia, from the person that every one of us here would not stand and say, when he said one, that you even say zero, not even to say one. And that person was our late Sheikh Kafumba Kone. I think it's somewhere around here. He told me, brother, I understand you don't want to tear the Amadingo community apart in America. You're not in agreement with the thing that we all been fighting for. That alone was sufficient for me. But I did not share it with anyone. Somebody just, I don't know how he got the information. From there, I made up my business to work with the administration. Talk to Richmond Corner. I wanted to work in whatever way I can. And when time came, the first thing I did was to run for the board chairmanship, at which time the board chairmanship was contested position. And I lost that election. Knowing full well that I will lose. Because coming from the blue, who would just go there and then make that success. But I wanted to show that I'm on board, not with politics. I was there to work and make sure we all carry on the legacy. And from there on, we have been working. But the problem in Felmausa, everyone will come and say, oh, Lord have unity, 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 Lord have peace. I think that has been oversaid. We said it over and over. What I think is we should do that. We should be very, very pragmatic. We should be sincere with ourselves and look at Felmausa and look at from the time it has been in existence to this time that we cannot even point at one tangible, with the exception of medical mission that we've been taking to Liberia. Yes, thankfully we've done that, it's on record, but what have we achieved? The first thing anybody will say about Felmausa now that they're a respectful organization, it's sad. That's why we continue to work no matter what. We always work, come and give our advice. So from this time on, I want us to take a different approach if we want to bring sanity. If we want to be proud of the organization we have. No one going to undo this organization. I've been approached by other people that, hey, you know, I think it's about time we go different. We go our own way and leave them fighting with some people, let them fight. I think we can do better. We know ourselves. And many times I said, that's not the solution. Lord, be in there and fix it. At which time I came, none of my peers you could find in Felmausa. I was told I was there respected. Are you going there? You meet your own. I said, yeah. For the sake of Madingo, if that be, so be it. And I came and I got it. And stayed there yet. Yeah, I will be there. So at this time, I will give my honest suggestion to the audience, to the delegates, to our elders, to our leadership, that after the convention, it need be, let the community congregate somewhere very unique, and let us suspend this constitution we have. It's a very hard thing to do, but for the sake of the good, I think we can do it. Reform Felmausa holistically. There are a lot of things that in our convention that is not doing all well. Like Alexander Cummings said, you keep doing the same thing over and over and you expect different results. That's what we have. We cannot expect anything out of Felmausa other than what we get, so long we remain at this, my people. suspend the constitution, go through a line by line, involve everybody, our elders, our women, go and sit down. Whatever we come up with, it will be the general consensus of everybody, and everybody take back into the day-to-day running of Felmausa. I think that way we have the sanity, the respect, the productivity that we expect from Felmausa. I have a lot of things to say, but it seems that we have a lot of speakers and time running fast. It can be maybe one of these days I will write it and publish it. But sometimes I don't just that will be writing fast on every little thing, because whatever you write, it lay after you forever. And this, yes, everything. When I wrote against Felmausa formation, I know it's somewhere there. Anybody can pick it up anytime. When I wrote on the Nima land issue against our brother Manu and Gio people there, up to now, some of them still fighting me. They got it on their hard days. They got it everywhere. Every now and then, they will put it up. At one point, I think, just for little information, someone told me my name came out for superintendent position in Nima County. Somebody talked about diversity. So, oh, one Bengali guy, he's a very good guy, he get along with everyone. Why now we can't try people like that? Somebody said, oh, the man who want to in Banya, you know, he wrote certain things against people. People had to run in Ganta here and there. So other people went down because that statement was powerful. But you see, every time you write, make sure what you write, you stand by it. So that's why we don't like to write fast. But what I'm saying, we need to look at it critically and make sure we reform Felmausa and reform it for the best. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mani Travel. That was the former president from Felmausa. It's almost seems like it was the guest speaker. He covered a lot of stuff. Okay, so now moving on.
Good evening, everyone. You know, it's always good to be prepared to, you know, say something when you come to these events. I wasn't even prepared. Amara didn't even tell me he was going to bring me up here. But it's always good to be back in your community to talk about things that are happening and to foster peace and unity. So it's always good to be here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be with all of you and celebrate Felmausa, this institution that we have that has bonded us together, and this is our, you know, our institution. We need to preserve it. So we've traveled long distances. Some of us drove, some flew 1,000 of miles to be here to celebrate Felmausa. So it's good to be here, and I know all of the previous speakers have talked about unity, the need to preserve the sanctity of this institution, and I want to build on that as well, you know. So it's always good when we come to these events to have an opportunity to have people to talk about how it's important to unify the community, because the fundamental aspect of success is peace, especially when it comes to community development. If you don't have the foundation of peace, that institution is bound to fail. So I think one of the things we should be talking about today, and we should really highlight that, is the foundation of peace. Because I see that our community is really, really disintegrated, right? This is the worst I've seen in our community, in the history of the Mandingo community, right? I mean, we have a history of a great-grandfather who fostered peace. They were not educated. These were folks who didn't go to Western schools to acquire Western knowledge, but they had the ability to foster peace and preserve them in an incredible way. Well, this is a generation that have acquired a lot of knowledge, but yet we don't have the ability to preserve peace. So that's really sad. And I think we are all under one obligation to make sure that this organization thrives. It needs to survive. Regardless of what the personal issues are, we need to make sure that this organization survives. So we're here today, whatever the issues are, right? I've heard a lot of issues that, you know, there's a lot of talk about tensions, and yes, it's good to have these conversations. But when we get on the ground, we get to see each other, we say hello for folks who haven't seen each other for years. That is the kind of, you know, relationship that need to take precedence over our tension. So it's good that we are here today, and I want to say thank you very much, Amara. I know Amara talked about my new role. Yes, I just got a new role with the City of New York as the director for the city census, deputy director for the city census, community outreach, and that's something we really need to talk about because this is where we live. I mean, we all know, and I want to pitch in a little bit of politics because we live in this country and we have kids in this country, so we have our first responsibility to this country, right? We will not forget motherland, but we live here, we're having kids here. And we have a president in DC that is spreading fear-mongering and that is really striking fears in the heart and minds of the immigrant community. Census is coming up in 2020. My boss, the mayor of the city of New York, have invested significant resources because New York has the largest concentration of immigrants nationwide. So the mayor have invested significant resources to make sure that people participate in the census, because if you don't, especially for the city of New York, if we don't participate in the census, we risk losing 2 congressional seats because the lines are going to be drawn again and we could lose 2 congressional seats. Beyond that, we could also risk to lose over $78 billion, the city of New York alone. So the federal government has this huge chunk of money. It's over $800 billion. And after every census, they do allocations of funding based on the number of people you got in your state. So if we don't get an accurate count of the city population, then we'll lose that money. And Mr. Trump is striking fears in immigrants, talking about, in fact, tomorrow they're talking about some national raid, right? They're going to do a raid of illegal immigrants. All these things are intended to strike fears in the hearts of immigrants. So when the census come up, you don't sign up. You say, no, I don't want immigration to come after me. Then guess what? We are the minority. Our kids are here. They're going to school, right? They need health insurance. They need programs. So if your kids are not counted, mine are not counted, the few folks who get counted, if they were supposed to get $100,000, they say, no, you guys are only 5,000 people there. You're not 10,000 people. We're giving you $5,000. Then that large population of people starts crumbling for that 5,000 when they were supposed to get 10,000 in the first place. So, and since we're all here, I think majority of us here live in this country, this is a message, and you, excuse me, I want you guys to be an ambassador for this effort, right? I know this is not a national politics on the USA, but I just wanted to pitch this in since Amara called me on the stage unexpectedly, but I wanted to pitch this in. As we leave from here today, we go home, let us become our own ambassadors. The Supreme Court just ruled there will be no citizenship questions on the census. No citizenship questions. So now, that's a huge success. So you can fill out the census now. You don't have to have immigration status. You can be illegal and still fill the census. And remember that, it's a constitutional mandate. And they got something called Title 13 under the Constitution that protect the confidentiality of census information. So it's illegal, even if the citizenship question gets on the census form, it's even illegal to share that. You can't even use that after the census. So please, let's do this. It's gonna be April 1st, 2020. The census is gonna start, but let's start sharing the messages because all of you in this house, you are ambassadors in your respective way. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. One of the brothers that keep inspiring our community, and I think it's important to inspire a lot of the young brothers and the youth as well, that there's a way for you in this country. In fact, in Minnesota, we've had, 3 or 4 Liberians that got elected into power. We have this mayor, we have council, the councilman, and representative. So Liberians are doing great. I'm so proud of Liberians. So let's give ourselves a big hand of applause. All right, so we would like to bring on our honorable ambassador.
I am delighted to be here, and I would like to, in this public manner, bring to you greetings and best wishes from your president, His Excellency George Manuel Weah, and of course, your people back home. I want to thank, I was here in May, and I met a fine gentleman, Lai. Where's Lai? There's Lai. He and I became friends. And then a few days later, I got a letter from this group inviting me to your convention. Thank you, Lai. It is an honor to be here and to be a part of this convention of yours. I hear people talk about unity. Unity. And our people back home, everywhere, we always say, the house divided against itself cannot stand. The house divided against itself cannot stand. So it is important for Felmausa, the members of Felmausa, to be united, because if you're not united here in these United States, how then will you be able to talk about unity back home? Of course, these are political times everywhere. You know, it's been about a year and 6 months since President Weah came to power. And there are many people who do not agree with him, but there are many of us who also agree with him that your president, our president, is working very hard for Liberia. There are things that president has done that in the history of our country, no president has done. When poor people's homes get burned down and people die, and you have the president standing up and rebuilding those homes for people, I have never seen that in our history. So President Weah is making history by going into Newtown, going into Cocoa Beach, and building homes for people who lost their homes. This president also is working hard. People complain that the University of Liberia, where is the money going? Which president in our history has ever made public university tuition free? Show me one. Even in good times, in best of times, when we had everything, when we had all the money, nobody, no president there to do that. But during critical times, during challenging times, you have a president who says, you can go to school. You don't have to pay a cent. Now let's see what happens, how we accept this challenge to the young people. We also have a president who is opening roads. You know, I came the last time to this place, somewhere in Lawrenceville, and I had a meeting with the community. And somebody got up and said, you know, the president is building roads, but the roads, they are not good. Something has to be wrong with us. Here we are. We didn't have the roads. They were either dusty roads or mud. But here is the president that comes to power and says, look, I'm going to open these corridors. I'm going to build these roads. Instead of saying, thank you, Mr. President, we say, why is he doing it? In everything we do, even you Muslims, I'm Christian, but they say whatever God does for you, you must appreciate it. Show thanks, show appreciation. The president is working very, very hard. And so we as a people, as the people of Liberia, we know that things have been tough. The government is the highest employer in that country. 65% of government budget goes to paying salaries. So when you have 65% of government budget going to paying salaries, you can imagine how much is left for development. So what the government is now saying, we open the market for private sector investment. Now that requires you, we're not only talking about foreigners, that requires you, our people who are here, who can invest, who have some money. And you don't have to even do it alone. A group of you can come together and put money together and go back home and employ. I know many of your folks are back there and doing exceptionally well, incredibly well. But we can do more. We can invest a little more in our country and create jobs for people who are idling on the streets to have something to do. You can go there and farm and bring food to the market. You know, couple of, I don't know whether we're still doing that. Pepper was coming from Guinea, and okra was coming from Guinea. Everything was coming from there. You want to tell me, as a people, can we not grow pepper and onion? Can we not grow pineapples? Can we not grow okra? Do we have to bring it? We have the soil. So the point I am making here is, we can go back home and invest. I encourage you. We are organizing, my office is organizing an investment forum. And that forum is going to be held on the 19th of September in New York. We encourage our people who are business people here to participate, to attend that forum. All government officials to be there. You ask all the questions. It's not a political meeting, so don't go there with a political thing. It's strictly for business. We want to talk to people who got money in this country to go home and invest, because that's the only way we move that country. Government cannot do it by itself. Government cannot employ everybody. It's not possible. We need you, we need our people to go there and invest. We are also trying to reach out to our medical doctors, medical practitioners in this country. I know some of you here may be doctors or nurses. We are organizing a forum to encourage our people to go home and volunteer. I know that some of you nurses and doctors, every year you take a suitcase, you put a few things in a suitcase, you go home. But we want to do it on a larger scale, where those who are medical practitioners who can teach, can go to AMWT, can go to Banga, can go to Malapatan and teach. Those who are nurses can go and teach our nurses how to take care of patients. We are working on that. And we encourage all of our people to participate in these meetings. Volunteerism is good. When your country helps you, it's good to give something back. I know some of you may not have gone to school in Liberia, but many of us were born there, we went to school there, and so we owe that country a lot. So we encourage you to go home. But this is the problem. As I was coming over here, I met a gentleman. I'm not going to call his name. I don't remember him. He said, "Hello, Mr. Ambassador." I said, "Yeah, young man, how are you?" I said, "But you say you don't know me, but I know you." I said, "Where you know me from?" He said, "I was part of the group that was in DC to demonstrate." Good. On June 7th. Demonstration is not a bad thing. Our Constitution provides for that. But this is where we are. We already have a situation back home that is challenging. An economy that is tough. Our people are having difficulties. The best we can do as a people is to ensure that that place is stable and firm. For about 15 years, we had UNMIL sitting in Liberia, keeping the peace and making sure that we were sleeping well. UNMIL has left, government has assumed that responsibility, and we all know that the government is doing extremely well in terms of providing security. And no country is crime-free. No country, even in this country, I was watching the TV last night, somebody got shot. So no country is crime-free. But the government back home is doing extremely well, keeping the peace, making sure that we are sleeping, our people are sleeping in peace. So it is incumbent upon us to help the government keep that country peaceful and stable. It's incumbent upon us. Because when that country is not safe, who's going to go there? Nobody's going to go there. Nobody's going to invest there. And people will suffer more. So it behoves us as a people to remain united, not just here in these United States, as Felmausa, as people of Liberia, but also to ensure that the peace and harmony, the good things we enjoy in this country can be enjoyed back home. So please, don't give your money to Costa and it ends in his pocket. Because I know there are a lot of people who have given money to Costa, and some of the money, the people are arguing about themselves now, what happened to all that money? You want to tell me your people back home who are hungry, they don't need that money? They need it. So why do you want to support a cause that does not help you? There are many ways. There are many ways we can resolve our issues. The young man who just left this stage was talking about our forebears, our fathers, some of whom never went to school. But they kept Felmausa together. How did they do it? They didn't have to go to Harvard to learn how to make peace. They didn't have to go to George Washington University to bring people together and show that Felmausa is peaceful and unified. They have wisdom. So there's a way in which as a people we address our concerns. And that way, all the way back, as we know, is under the Palaver Hall when our people will sit down and discuss the issues.
So when you have issues with your government, your country, the best thing I suggest and I recommend to you to do, to create conditions where we can sit down and have a discussion. I believe by doing that, all of us together can claim the success. We have done this together, and Liberia is peaceful, and Liberia will move. Liberia will triumph. Everything that is happening now will be resolved. You have a government that is committed, you have a president that is committed to resolving all of those issues. All that is required for us to do is to have little patience, not just more than patience, it will show little love for Liberia. Listen, go on the internet. Let's assume Mr. Kamara here wanted to take some people to Liberia to go and invest in the country. They say, okay, let's go on the social media and check what is happening to Liberia. They will get discouraged. Because the kind of thing we put on social media alone will discourage people from going. Some people, they get up in the morning, they just cuss. Something is wrong with us. You go on social media, somebody is just there cussing everybody. I mean, what is that? Is this the only way you can bring about change? No, that's not the only way. The peaceful way is the best way to bring about change. That is why I will encourage you, Felmausa. Whatever is happening in your rank and file, whatever is happening that is causing division, this convention provides an opportunity for you people to sit down. The long speeches, maybe you should forget about the long speeches and sit down and see how you can tighten those bolts and knots, those little things that are dividing you so that you come together. Because if you are not united, how do you progress here as a people? A couple of months ago, there was this DED thing, President Trump extended the DED, and we were all happy. But here is the issue. Some people sitting here may be on this DED thing. And I suggest, as I've said, everywhere I have been, we should not wait until we get to February. Because Trump gave us 1 year, isn't it? 1 year. By the end of March next year, the DED will come. Trump can decide whether he extends it or not. So this is the time to get to your community leaders, if you are on this DED, so that you begin the effort. We understand a resolution was passed in Congress, in the lower house, but it's gone to the Senate. Whether that is going to be voted for, adopted, nobody knows. But you should continue the advocacy, talking to your people to make sure that those who are on the DED have a pathway to stay here, whether a green card, whether citizenship. This is what we have. Don't sit down until the 9th hour or the 11th hour. Don't wait. And then they start running the Capitol building. This is the time to do that. I thank the leadership of this Felmausa for this honor, for inviting me here to have this conversation with you. Before I sit down, I want to let you know that our 26th Independence Day is just around the corner. And in Washington, D.C., we are celebrating the July 26th. On the 20th of July, we call what we call the cultural extravaganza, where all Liberians will converge on the embassy. If you have food, people will sell food, people will sell drinks, there will be music there for people to dance. You come and let's dance, let's celebrate 172 years. Let's come and meet new friends and make new friends, all of us. On the 26th day itself, we will have a reception. That one is by invitation. And the Honorable Assistant Minister, I have an invitation, 1 or 2 of them. Like, if you have people who want to attend the reception, that is by invitation. That's going to be on my residence. I brought a couple of invitations, they are in my car. So anybody who wants to go there, I will save an invitation so you participate in that, in the diplomatic reception. But we want to encourage you as our people to remain faithful to your country. If you're not faithful to your country, how can you be faithful to yourself? It's one president said before in this country, I'm not going to call his name, you all know him. So now what your country can do or what you can do, you know what it means. Liberia needs all of us. All of us here, all of you here are important to our country. You are an important part, a fundamental part of that country. That is why you sit here every day, you send your little money to people back there to survive. We encourage you not to forget your people and not to forget your country. We encourage you in communities you go to preach peace, to preach unity, because that's the only way we'll forge ahead. We're the oldest in Africa, 172 years. Look at where we stand. We can change that. It requires us standing together as a people and working together, not the distractions fighting each other. Politics being what they are, we always have politics. But the focus, our focus is that country we call Liberia, to which we all belong. I encourage you, Felmausa leadership, keep your people together, keep them united, and let's work together to build Liberia. My office is open, my doors are open. People can come there without even making an appointment. I see them. So nobody to say, I want to see the ambassador, I can see you. If you have issues and you have a problem, just come down, so let me know. When I'm up there, I will see you. Anybody, people come and I see them. I don't wait. No. People say, well, you don't have invitation, you cannot come. But I see everybody. So I encourage you, when you have your events, you have an occasion, let me know. If it's possible, I will come. And I have to tell you how pleased I am for being here. I was looking forward to this. And as long as I am the ambassador here, I am the ambassador for all Liberians and for you. Whatever you do, wherever you go, when you feel pain, let me know. We'll share that pain with you. When you celebrate, let us know. We'll celebrate with you. Thank you very much.
Matter, Liberian ambassador? What's the matter, Liberian ambassador? Who says so? Who is that? All right. Kind of swallowed the words down there. Anyway, Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much. That was a great speech. You know, he touched on several things, and I always like to do that if I'm MC. You know, it's very important to, you know, reiterate the message of somebody who just said something important. And one of the things he spoke about was agriculture. Liberia's, you know, our country, we don't think agriculture to be important. And I'll give you a short story before we go. I went to Colombia, and as poor as they are, there are people who are very rich. But as poor as they are, there was the only time the Colombians you see them fighting, they're fighting for drugs. But you don't see them fighting the government or anything. You know the reason why? I fed 17 people with rice, chicken, everything together. We went for a wedding, and we started saying to ourselves, let's split the money. Because we thought it was too many people, about 35 people with chicken, half chicken, rice, everything. I said, my friend, we're gonna split it. This is a lot of money. And surprisingly, when they brought the bill, it was only $17. $17. So half chicken over there is probably 98 cents. And that was way back in Liberia when we were growing up. You know, 5 cents, 2 cents. So you got Colombia not modern day where chicken, half chicken is 98 cents. So that's what agriculture do for people. And I did not know that the GPA for that country is over 300 billion because of the agriculture. And then you also talk about the advocacy. You know, we should advocate for our brothers and sisters that are on DED. We shouldn't wait until the end of the day. And also Felmausa to unite as the president, the team for the convention is working together, unity, right? So that's it. And I would like to recognize our guest speaker for tomorrow, Honorable Mohammed Keita. He's in the house. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we can't let you bust the secret here today. Yeah, so we're not going to call you here. We're going to keep you for tomorrow. You know, no, we'll keep him because I know he's a powerful speaker. I don't want you to take all the juice out. You know, we're going to keep him for tomorrow. All right. So, and then there was somebody I also recognize. Imam Adam Fofana is here. Please, let's give our Imam a big hand clap, man. I know. All right, now we also have Imam Manfafin Kenneth. He's here. So they were supposed to be here to start this program with the traditional recitations of some Quranic reading or some Islamic advice. But we'll come back to them later on as the program goes forward. Please take your seat. If you're coming late, please take your seat. You're distracting just walking around. Please take your seat. And then we'll also like to recognize Brother Randall Jabate, who's in the house. From London, who came to grace the occasion. Ayuba Jacino Kamara. Grace the occasion. And we would like to call you up on the stage for remarks. Mr. Jacino, come on.
could observe. I was told this is a traditional hour, so I expected different setting and different speakers. But there I can see, so probably I'm on the spot right there. A special greeting from the president of the Liberian Mandingo Federation in Europe, Honorable Abu Saka. He sent a special greeting. Honorable President, Board Chairman, a greeting from our President Abu Saka. Let me make this clear. For the last 2 years, Felmausa and the Mafia have been working together on numerous of programs. And recently, we had the All Mandingo Conference in Amsterdam, and it was a high effort for each and every one. So I want to use this time to tell all the Felmausians tonight, thank you so much. Thank you for your hard work. And secondly, I want to just make us brief advice, and sorry for the barrier, I would like to say that in Mandingo. Mo do mo do lo tano, na ka for traditional hour. Wati do lo mo we nyina mo akojoko. Na mo tika mo agire uki utaluku fo mo nye. Adu lo mo demi ni bengu ko mo bunu mike. Ati de na ke biela. O mo we na mo beke na zara utale. Na uka taluku fo mo nye. Na uki bemeni ta fu na bala mo kala. Na o bala kan ni kono. U timini bemu no. U timini una timina ko mi no ka benge. O chama be funye taluku be funye. Mo agire uti mo hakira be mo bi. Mo mo gbon yoro na mo be uti mo fude. Amo malaja, amo kanyina mo be ka kusunu kala. Amo dien, amo mo kokoro blalo. Mo tombo hakite blala wala uti na la talukulete fa mo munya kama sawula kuma. Talukulete fa mo munya ka suti wula kuma. Talukulete fa mo munya. Wataluku mo be mo kuna. Ibi na kabi mo be jeri uti soke wali skoli ka fa na wali ma di jeri mate kuma. Wa jeri te historian ni wule to kokoro fa mo munya. Adura ube do ya taluku fa ine. Imone no komino taluku fo nya foto ka laima. Imone no komino ube na be. Modo ko mo benke. Bente na kera nya mo kose mo traditional hour me le jita ma. Amiti bisabate taluku du te fo. Do jamu te fo ine. Mo du mo la no ube me una ko bale kera. Ube me te o matola le. Utibe kumala ine u baka ulo soka kata kubauke unankela amonka mnyina mo bodako amonka nyina mo bodako amonka nyina mo jona mu to kuka jamika ko krosi dina monka jere aijo amo uka amonka nyina mo we na no mo chomo ngunya ku korofo monye mo ma di chomo ku korofo monye watse be shamo be kan dasara utabe seba mobro wawe sa yoro ya mo hakisi ka mo hatitoro nanga se no kumata se afa ben lamana kama ko ma joshua kerelo ma turone ke sebeli ibe turunga sebeli ibe joshua kerelo se wa fuite shalo sisi mangbasi moni vi mo be ke ko ko fla okara amo mo mi lo ma mo be na be ka be fo airu mi america na lura sia beli wa be ko ka na wele tara dune fo europe mo to mo europe ni europe ka fa na nga suna ka fe musala wolo so abeka ko ka na lo nyele fe nyefe mo ile ko fe mo la kabiala mu nya haila dune sini ai sini ni koko timindo no ai kele ko le kala misa dune ka fa ha na mo duta na katino lo udo asia molo unu uta demla monyo nanga sino nanga bla mo na ijo jafama Burungolo. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jasino Kumaro, MC. And this is what happened in Mandingo program. You get the MC and you get the program, everybody start talking in your ear. This person here, this person here. Everybody here is important. If we want to do that, we can spend the whole day here and we will not get out of here. Every single one of you that came, because the least amount of money people spend to come to the event is at least over $800. So sometimes we would like to just recognize some people. It's just enough. It doesn't mean that when they recognize you, you should come and speak. And if we give you the opportunity to speak, just limit it to 2 minutes or 3 minutes. and it will be so good so that the program can go on very smoothly. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to allow everybody to speak, point blank, because I got to control the show. Thank you. I'm sorry if anybody get upset, but we have to control the show and also move on fast as we can. So right now, what we have here, we will go straight into the chapter leaders to come and start making some deliberation, because that's what we're here for. So we call on the great state of Atlanta, Georgia. First of all, I would like to, recognize him. Late Ray, you've done extremely well. Look at this beautiful place where we have in the tradition hours. This is the most beautiful, beside the one from, no, Minnesota had the best. I believe Minnesota had the best. So, Late Ray, so please, welcome to the stage, Late Ray. The Liberian president for the Liberian Association of Metropolitan, right, Atlanta? Yeah, Sumo Hoba, right? Yeah, she just arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a big hand clap. So before the chapter leaders come, I would like to call on Lady to make a few remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I saw people eating, so I know we all are filled, except me, because I just got here. Good afternoon. On a serious note, Mr. Ambassador of the Muslim Association in the state of Georgia and the Americas, all the officials present here, I want to say it's a pleasure standing here today to speak to you as a Liberian. And the Liberian Association of Georgia has a very cordial relationship. Doing some years ago, I reached out to the Mandingo community, and I'm proud I did. They were very receptive, and up till now they are. So when the Mandingo community tells me that they are having a program, whatever I'm doing, I will drop it and run there. For some of you that know and some of you that don't know, I have a Muslim background, and my father is from the Mecca Swan district, so you know that the Mandingos, the Gola, the Pele, and everybody are all mixed up there in my brothers and sisters. So standing before you today is not a mistake. I'm your sister, I'm your daughter. I don't want to say I'm your wife because I'm not married to you. I'm married to a Nibadian, so I'm not your wife, but I'm your sister and your daughter. I want to encourage you to come on board and join the Liberian Association. Liberia is for you. It's not for me, it's not for Lahi Ture, it's not for anybody else, but it's for every one of us. Come and join, bring your gift, bring your talents, so tomorrow our children can benefit from what we have established. Again, I want to say thank you tonight, and I'm proud to be in the midst and call myself a Liberian. Thank you.
So we'll call on our brother, Ronald Jabate. He's going to say one or two things.
I don't want to use the mic, but and if you say the Mandingo community in America, there's Mr. Yeket come up here. I just want to not know what has happened in the past in our community. And if I see Mr. Yeket here, I get little excited. If I see Mr. Ducle in our midst, I'm overexcited. Because as I learned you honoring me tomorrow, I'm not going to say anything about that. But every single honor that I have in this country, every single thing that it is through their inspiration. We had a bitter fight. And I'm saying this right now because this is traditional hour. We had bitter fight, advocacy. We demonstrated for peace in this place. And I just want to say that while you're here, and this is traditional hour,
I am honoring you tonight because you deserve it. And he is out of the quarter-boning group, okay? And there were 3 groups that started Felmausa. That was Philadelphia, Mamadi Kroma, and then there was Uma Dole, and there was Sekou Touré. He is repeating right after me. So we know, and they were sitting down in that background advising us. So we are not, when we are moving forward this time, if you come, do not be silent. Give us your advice and your moral blessing as we move forward. And Mr. Dukley, you see Mr. Dukley, Mr. Dukley has been there in the vanguard of all of these things. Unico, Eula, name it. He's been there to form those organizations. And when he is in the midst, for us to move forward, we must get their blessing. We must get their blessing. So that is what we need to do, even before the imam can come up here. That's my personal feeling. Even if I can be honored, these people that went to Washington, D.C., fought for peace, demonstrated for peace, went to places with us, we cannot forget them. They need to give us the first blessing before we move forward. Thank you guys, and I'm just introducing you guys to the people, and come tomorrow and see me get my award. Thank you.
So now we'll call our uncle Asad Dukley to come and give a few words. And then from there we'll have the imam and say something to because it was most important as well. So,
hello. Peace and mercy of Allah be on you. I am so proud to have the opportunity to look and see all of my people. I respect, I welcome, I appreciate each and every one of you. Your coming to meet together today is a call for unity. Whose unity? Liberia. Unity for Liberia, unity for Africa, unity for the rest of the world. I appreciate my coming and thank you for having me.
Thing here, very quick. This is, no, you don't want? Okay. All right, so we would like to recognize the musician for Sunday night, Idura Aleta. Please stand. She's going to be playing Sunday night, but she came to just grace the occasion. And to my right, I would like to recognize former Felmausa Medical, our imam. Before we go to the chapter leaders, we'll call on our imam. Imam, this is your time. I'm going to bring.
This is a traditional hour. And before I dwell into the books of God, I want to remind all of us about something that happened in 1990. At the All Liberian Conference, the conference became chaotic. The delegates wanted to leave the country in chaos. And fortunately, our late father, Sheikh Kafumba Kone, was there on the podium. It was just him and myself that represented the Mandingo community in particular, and the Liberian Muslim in general. So when it became chaotic, Father Francis, who happened to have been my pastor then, because I was once a student at Cathedral High School, sat just beside Sheikh Kahumba. And President Amos Sawyer, I'm just looking at the stage, trying to give a visual perspective of what happened. And President Bambagida was there on the stage. So sitting in the middle of the delegates, there were prominent Liberian leaders. There were politicians. There were religious leaders. There were Madingo community leaders. One of them, our late father, Sekou Belete, just to name few, and Mr. Sila. So when the conference became chaotic, all of Adot lost words to say. And I had the courage on that day to put the mic to my mouth. I can't remember exactly what I said because I was still very young. I didn't have this gray beard then. But what I said is what I want to repeat today because this is traditional hour. Liberia is a nation of peace. We can't afford to have discord, misunderstanding, and fight. Diversity, it should be a power, not a weakness.
Thank you.
We are diversified for a reason. And now I'm going to the biblical saying. We are diversified for a reason. Allah says in the Holy Quran, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. That we created you as men and women and made you into tribes and nations so that you may have knowledge of each other's condition and support each other in spite of the differences that exist among you. But the best among you is the most contributor, the most positive contributor, the most self-conscious, the most God awareness, the most pious of you is the best of you in the sight of the Creator Himself. So, there is no need for discord. There is no need for division. There is no place for a fight because we have bled enough. I remember one of the first statements I made on the Liberian National Radio. The first time in Liberian history to allow a Muslim to give an invocation at the opening of the radio station. That was me. It's not about what I said then, what I did then. It's about what I said and it became the national talk of the time. Liberia, do not divide again. Liberia, do not bleed again. Liberia, move forward as you have done before. And then I concluded, thank God for ECOMA. And today, I'm saying, thank God for our leaderships, our Madingo leadership that made this day possible. It's not about us here. I can assure you that. It's not about the Madingo that are sitting here. It's not even about the Madingo that are in Liberia. The last time I met my father, Sheikh Kafumba, he told me, he said, son, I love you. And nothing can change that. But tell our people to stop division and get united. Backbiting and fighting does not pay. There is a day coming when Liberians will take flashlight and lanterns to look for Kafumba Kone, and they won't find him. Are we doing it now? Sure. Now let's take that flashlight and lantern to look for each other so that we can create many Kafumba Kone. In conclusion, because there are so many people who want to say something. Don't give the mic to Imam and let him talk, because I just finished giving khutbah and then I can continue doing today for the whole day.